Hi there, everyone. It's Jen here from tarotspirit.net. Thank you for joining me. This is a reading. Yeah, this is a reading for the week of August 20th for each sign. So I'm starting with Aries. Aries wants to get going here, so let's just jump right into it. Okay. So you guys are coming out right at the beginning, the Queen of Wands. This is the fire energy. And she's a very motivated, enthusiastic, passionate type of energy. So if you're looking to start something this week, or you just need extra energy this week, you're going to have it with this queen. She's very, she's the kind of person that gets up and works out before she goes to work and has all these side projects maybe that she's super interested in, and is able to maintain this level of interest for something for a very long time. She's mature, so she doesn't go, oh, I really want to get into yoga, and goes out to Lululemon and drops, $1,000 on, which isn't hard to do, on a mat and yoga clothes, and goes to one class and is like, oh, no, it's not really for me. She will become dedicated. So that type of energy will be available to you. And you guys are pretty much good about that. Now, that being said, with the cards you're paired with, the Hanged Man and the Two of Swords, you may be feeling frustrated this week because things aren't happening. And the Queen of Wands, it's like, just like I said, she's ready to go. She has energy. She's motivated. She wants to get going. And then it's like, comes to a screeching halt with this Hanged Man. And he's just, so you may find it difficult to get things started at work. It may be like a hurry up and wait situation, or you may have really finally made a decision. I'll pick on the yoga thing, that you want to do or maybe you want to become like a certified yoga teacher, and then the next class is available for that isn't until January, and it's just like, oh, but I'm so excited. So the lesson of this Hanged Man is to not to sit there like tapping your foot going, oh, this sucks. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And you're just it's sort of like a negative vibration, a negative energy, like, oh, this sucks. I hate waiting. I hate waiting. It's like, okay, that's disappointing that you can't move forward when you've like finally made that decision. You're ready to move forward with something. Maybe you've decided you want a new career, you want to go back to school, or you want to move, or you want to do this. And it's just not something that can happen instantly. So the Hanged Man's like, okay, so you can either expend your energy complaining or being frustrated, or you can use it constructively and think, okay, well, what are some other things I'm interested that I can work on? Maybe I can start working on another aspect of my business, my hobby, my whatever. Maybe I can use this time to really hone my skills so that when I go to the teacher training class, I am really, in top shape. And maybe you weren't. So maybe this card's coming up and saying, hey, you know what? Yes, you have the enthusiasm, the drive, the passion, you're going to stick with it. But there's this opportunity being given to you this week for a pause. So try to look at places where you can't quite move forward and make sure you use the downtime wisely. And there is a decision. So for some of you also, though, there's going to be a decision to be made where maybe you've been waiting patiently for a long time. And this week you're going to finally be like, you know what, I've really thought about this. This isn't a rash decision. And I'm not being allowed to move forward where I am, whether it's in my relationship, at work, whatever. I'm being stunted in somehow. I'm being held back in some way. And I need to make the decision whether I'm going to continue to stick it out and try to look at it from a philosophical lens and stick with it, or I'm going to allow myself to move forward and really reach my potential and shine. I mean, she lights up, she shines. So the hangman definitely isn't negative, and he offers some opportunity for enlightenment, a lot of opportunity for enlightenment. But every situation is going to be different, and you have to weigh the options this week, whether you've waited long enough. Try to put what's a realistic time frame on something for something to come through. If you've been waiting for a raise, something with and if it's not happening, it's, if you've been with someone 4 years and you talk about marriage and that's really important to you and it's just not happening, one, you could ask them, but you can also be like, I mean, you don't want to force someone to get married. You don't want to force, there's certain things you don't want to be forced. And if they're just not happening and you feel like time is just passing me by and it's just not right for me, then you need to make the decision whether to accept that or to move on. So I think there may be sort of a bigger decision coming to some of you this week, where it will be, and not necessarily in a negative way, like the straw that broke the camel's back, where you sort of realize it's time to make a decision, move on. And it's such eclipse energy now that I realize I'm reading during the eclipse week. So, all right, thanks, Aries. On to Taurus. Hi there, Taurus. I hope you're well. Oh, the Hanged Man was just out. So I read reversals. I sort of feel the energy of the card and decide which energy is coming through. But I do flip them around just because that's what I do. So the Five of Pentacles energy, these two cards are sort of similar, and they have a feeling stuck. This one's feeling left out in the cold, feeling a lack, feeling like you don't have enough, the poverty mentality. And the law of attraction, says if you're always saying, I don't have enough, I don't have enough, don't have enough, you will be reinforced that statement that you don't have enough. I like to look at it as it's whether you're going to be a positive person or a negative person. You can say, oh, I don't have enough to go on vacation, I don't have enough to do this, but when you start counting the things you do have, and we have a choice whether we're counting the things we don't have or counting the things we do have. And so if you're counting the things you do have, it's like, okay, I can afford to eat, I have a roof over my head, you know what I mean? I can afford, whatever. You just start counting your blessings. And, the hangman is this guy who, finds himself in a lot of other decks. He's strung up in a tree and he's hanging there and he can't get down, and he can make the decision on whether he can sit there and struggle and be like, oh, it sucks, I'm pissed, I'm stuck in this tree and it's everyone else's fault, and why does everything bad happen to me, and all this stuff, and just expend an enormous amount of negative energy that is not productive in any way. Or he can be like, well, this is not ideal, but I never get a chance to really slow down, and this is sort of forcing me to slow down. I have this time to just be, and I can think about things. And now that I'm sitting here upside down, I'm looking around, everything looks different. I mean, literally go outside and stand on your head and look around. It's disorienting. You can even do it inside too. Everything looks different. Your perspective is completely different, and you will see things that you've never seen before because you've never looked at them from that angle. So that's the real lesson with this Hanged Man card. And to use any sort of downtime where you perceive things aren't happening, um, as a use it constructively, and understand it for the opportunity that it is, because he gains enlightenment in these types of situations where things aren't happening the way he wants them to, and it appears that things are not, that there's a lack going on. And then you have another major arcana. You have this high priestess, and so sometimes when we perceive blocks in our way, it's because we're maybe going on the wrong path, or our mind we're thinking about things in a way that's not helping us. And she would ask us to really, really, it's like, what are those thoughts that bubble to the surface that you then push right down and you deny yourself because, that negative ego comes up. It's like, oh, you can't do that. No one will like that. People will think you're weird. You don't have the money. You don't have the time. You don't have the experience. You can't do it. You're not enough. That same negative. And I don't mean that you guys are just this negative person, but you may not even realize these doubts you have, that they're sort of bringing your energy down. So really allow yourself to explore things that you may think other people think are weird or strange, or it's kind of like this YouTube. I'm sure lots of people don't understand what I do with my tarot cards, but something that brings me joy. And I just have to be, it's like I have to not care what other people think. And allow yourself the joy and the pleasure and that, allow yourself to be happy. That's kind of what's coming through. So, all right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, Taurus, and on to Gemini. Gemini, your thing came on at 12/21. That's my birthday. So I wonder if that will be significant, that things this month for you will start a cycle of events, or a series of events that will culminate. This just came out for Gemini. For Taurus. That will end around the holidays, the end of the year. So think about, is there anything happening? Maybe some of you, this is your last semester of school, or you plan on moving or traveling or something like that. So that can be a clue to what's coming up this week for you guys. Okay, so the High Priestess. This can come up as something hidden, something like subconscious, something you're denying, but it's more, I see it more because that has like a negative aspect or connotation to it, and I don't mean it to be negative. So it's like, listen to your gut. You ever been around someone and you get this gut feeling? I was checking into a hotel and I happened to catch these room numbers, and I said to my son, we're going to get a room somewhere around 208. And I always deny things like that, always. And I'm like, damn it, I knew it. I knew on some level something. So I'm just going to say it out loud. And we got 210. And he was like, you were right. It's silly, but it's really fun. So, you guys may want to work on your intuition, your psychic abilities. There are psychic development classes. It's a muscle that needs to be worked. So if that's something that interests you, I would suggest you look into that. But trust your gut this week. If you're around someone at work and you get this feeling like, I feel like I shouldn't share this idea with this person. I feel like it's like keep things to yourself this week. But also remember, if you have a feeling like someone's hiding something from you, to trust that as well. So I don't mean it to be paranoid. I mean it more to be trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. And it's very much, the High Priestess reminds me of the moon, so something around the eclipse. And this is kind of, to me, this feels like an eclipse card. It has like the moon, the dark, the sun, all in one area. So the Ace of Swords. I think this High Priestess energy is going to trigger something in you where you really start thinking about things differently. Things really start to come together in your mind, and maybe you start to see the magic and your intuitive side. It's like you see this whole other side of yourself, because when you think about it, there's the elements and then there's spirit. And spirit you can think of in, it's really defined, I think, however you want to define it. It's that other sense. It's that thing we can't see, but we know is there. We know there's something else. Like, what's a person's personality? So it's like you're maybe I think for some of you, you're really starting to open up to this idea of something else, this other sense, and things like that. And it's really going to intrigue you and open your mind. And you're going to realize you can use this. It isn't something separate, but it's something that's a part of every part of your life. You can use your intuition in work, in relationships, in absolutely everything that you do. So I think it's going to be a kind of a cool time for you guys this week. But because that sounds negative. The Seven of Cups is, I think you're going to be extremely creative. Like, this realization is going to trigger a lot of excitement and a lot of ideas and a lot of daydreaming. And it's almost like you're going to be like, well, where do I even start to begin to explore this new idea, this whole new dimension, or I don't know if that's the right word, because that implies all sorts of other stuff. And you may be like, oh, I want to learn about tarot cards. I want to learn about psychic development. I want to learn about all this other stuff. And it's just, you get all these creative ideas going. And some people read this card as, oh, it's indecisiveness. You need to make a decision. And yes, at some point you do need to make a decision. But this energy is really, it's necessary to be able to, say you're an author, you want to write a book, and that can definitely come up with this card. You need this time to dream and think up the story. You need the creative time to figure out what you're going to then create. So it's a very creative time for you this week. And now on to the sign of Cancer. How are you, Cancer? Hope you're doing well. And we're going to pull 3 cards for the week of August 20th, the week of the eclipse. Whoops. I really felt the eclipse energy. Oh, that came out for another. Oh, no, that's my favorite card. I thought it was a different card. Oops. Jeez. Okay. Wow. Okay, you guys are feeling the eclipse energy because you have the Death card come out. And this is, like, to me, like the eclipse card. It's like the best way to describe it is the caterpillar turning into the butterfly. I mean, the caterpillar, it's the same being, it's the same creature, but that butterfly is never going to be a caterpillar again. So it's like, and with this eclipse energy, I think it's going to be particularly, and you're going to be particularly sensitive to it. So this is like, you're done with a group of friends or a friend, and this is usually something that's been building for a long time, and often it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. So it's not some huge horrible event that happens, but it's just like, if finally something in your mind makes you go, why am I putting up with this crap? Or, I'm not happy doing this. This really isn't what I'm passionate about. I want more. I want something different. I want to create, to move. I want to, it's like I want a different life. It doesn't mean your old life is bad, but you're realizing there's more and you want more and you're transforming yourself. And part of being able to do that is not giving a shit what other people think. We spend our whole lives, and I'm guilty of this as much as anyone, staying in a box, playing it safe. And that doesn't mean being, you know, oh, at 46, I'm going to try to get into the WNBA, having never played basketball, being 5'7". No. Okay. I'm not talking about completely irrational and unrealistic things, but maybe you've always been interested in acting. Well, maybe you can't pick up and go to Hollywood, but maybe you can get involved in your local theater or start taking some classes. It's like, why not do it? It doesn't matter how old you are. My mom started running when she was 50, 40s or 50s. May have been in her 40s, but still, when she was my age or younger. I'm 46. She is 74. She gets up every morning and runs. And she looks, she looks somewhat, around her age, but her energy and the way she holds herself, she looks very young. I mean, she's light on her feet, and because has the mindset that she can do it. She's not going to she doesn't give a shit what other people think. Oh, you're too old, you're this, all the negative things people put out there. So don't give a shit. And this really goes with this card. This lady here, she, in the traditional Rider Waite, she's training a falcon, which if you think tarot cards were created in a time where that had been a very unusual thing for a woman. This woman lives alone. She presides over her own estate. She manages it without anyone's help. She trains falcons, which is a very, quote, unquote, unladylike thing to do. She doesn't give a shit. She's like, I got this. I can manage it myself. And this goes for either gender. Like, don't allow this. I mean, that's all perception of what's female, what's male, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable. That's just all society, and it changes. It's just a facade. And what matters is truly what you're interested in doing. So don't hold yourself back. And it really changes you. Like, this is the Knights bring about change in the suit they're in. So this cups are emotions. This is going to bring about like a complete change. Like, I really see you guys feeling this eclipse energy really strongly, where you're like, I am going to transform my life. And it's going to stick. You're never going to be the person that you were before. And it has the moon up here. So dream big and start making changes, and don't care. Don't give a shit. If anyone says anything negative, just kind of realize they're in a different place than you are and wish them well and go on and be fabulous. Okay, we're going to move on to Leo. Hey there, Leos. We are doing a reading for August 20th, the week of the eclipse. Very exciting. Ooh, love is in the air. Whoa, love is really in the air. Children are in the air. Pregnancy. It's a very fertile time for you guys, so think about whether that's something you're interested in or not. Wow, so you guys are really, for any of you who have, most of us have had a struggle in relationships in the past. And so for some of you, this is going to be a week where you're healing from a past hurt. The Three of Swords, the Three of Swords is, often it's read as a broken heart, but it's a sword card. It's a thought card. It's a mind card. So it's how we think, how our brain puts together what's happened to us when we've been hurt, if that makes any sense. So this is going to be a week where you're going to, I had this boyfriend. I was like jealous of him. He dumped me. It's a big, long story, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me in my life. It was a defining moment in my life. he he I moved for him, and in about a month and a half, he dumped me. So I had like left a good job, left where I grew up, um, and it was just a very scary, but it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. But I was really jealous and hanging on for a long time, and then it was like one day a light switch flicked. Nothing changed, nothing happened, but it was just like the way I finally was like, I just let it go. I just stopped thinking about him, stopped focusing on him, and I was ready to move on. And it's really a mindset. It's really um, what we're going to make it. It's kind of just like you've got to, it's like this week you're going to just decide to let something go. You're just not going to hang on to it anymore. And it could be anything, something from your childhood, something with a friend, something from a work situation, whatever you're hanging on to, resentment, anything. It's just like you're going to let that shit go and realize all it does is contaminate the future when it's gone. It's the past and it's time to move on. So you guys definitely feeling this eclipse energy too, ready to move on. And if you've been leery about getting into a relationship, you're going to let it go and dive in, and not in a reckless way, but you're like, the only way to see if a relationship is going to work is to be in one. There's no guarantee. There's no way to know if it's going to work out. Of course, you're not going to ignore red flags, but you've got to move forward. And this is a beautiful new emotional beginning. This is just a beautiful card. So, I mean, pregnancy, something new that is really emotionally satisfying. This could be a job, a friendship, a relationship, starting a new hobby, moving into a new home. It could really, I mean, those are sort of pentacles, but it's anything that brings you joy. Just being ready to move on, like not being tied down by old stuff or old crap. It's like, whatever, didn't work, I'm moving on. Like, it's a waste of my time. All right, so I'm just going to keep moving on. We are going to Virgo. I'm writing down the timestamps as I go because I'm too lazy to go back through. Okay, Virgo. The eclipse. So some of you have birthdays coming up. Happy birthday, Virgo, if that's you. This is a reading for the week of August 20th. It's interesting, as I get to the signs that are closest to like the eclipse, it's weird. It's like, and I know that might not make sense astrologically, but I feel the eclipse energy is more, it's like going to affect you more. So I don't know if that will keep happening as I go through the zodiac. But okay, you guys got some great cards. So there is this theme to, yes. Ooh, I haven't been looking at the bottom, but I saw the tower at the bottom for you guys. This is great. You guys, this is definitely eclipse energy. You guys are sick and tired of worrying about what other people think about you. You just don't give a shit anymore. And honestly, it doesn't mean you're selfish and you don't consider other people's feelings, but the happiest people in the world don't give a shit about what other people think. They're just doing their thing and living their life. They get it. Like, she has a little secret, and her secret is life is too short to give a damn and try to live your life for other people and worry about what other people think. The key to happiness is to enjoy what you're doing. In a traditional like Rider-Waite deck, she is presented as this this woman who presides over her own big estate. She has a falcon she's training, which, if you think about it, back when these tarot cards were created several hundred years ago, although the Rider-Waite's earlier, more recent than that, I think. Whatever. The point is, I know someone will leave a comment correcting me. That's fine. society would have looked at that odd, like, oh, this single lady all by herself running that estate and doing something that's more of a man's hobby. And they would have been very like, has been very scandalous. And she's like, "Psh, I got this. I'm happy. I'm confident. I am living life. I'm living large. I am happy because I'm doing my thing and I don't care what anyone else thinks about it, because it's my passion. It's what makes me happy. And I'm thriving. I'm living my life." And you're just going to like, you ever notice, I mean, people will be like, oh, that's so weird that you do that. It's so weird that you do that or whatever. But the people that seem to be most attractive are the ones that are like really dedicated to something or really into something. It makes them so interesting. Um, because I think that vibration they give off is one of like happiness and joy, and they're just doing their thing and not spending all this time worrying about what other people think about them or trying to attract someone or whatever. It's like, let's just mind my own business and do my own thing and have a good time. And that just attracts people to you. So this is vitality. Um, it's just everything positive, warm, happy, exciting, beautiful, positive card. And the King of Wands, again, is that just enthusiasm, the passion for life. And maybe your thing is just living life to the fullest, getting up every day and being like, all right, I woke up, I'm alive, I have this whole day ahead of me, and I'm not going to focus on negative things. I'm going to focus on all the great things I do have and what new adventures and excitement I can do today, and how to live a good, happy life. And that will be infectious, and you'll spread that to other people. So any things that have happened in the past that have really gotten you down, again, you have the wheel, things are turning, and the best way to make the wheel turn in your favor is to have a positive attitude. Count your wins, count your blessings, have a positive outlook on things. And it will snowball and more positive things will happen. Okay, let's move on to Libra. Okay. Libra. Oh, okay. Did that one turn up? All right, you guys are getting an extra one. Wow, so you got the couple here. You have Queen and King of Swords. So you're the sword sign. I haven't been looking at the end, but the last couple cards, you got the Eight of Wands. So for some of you, I'm just going to say it. For some of you, this eclipse season is going to be the eclipse of a relationship. We have the King and Queen of Swords here. When these come up, they're a couple. But you have the Hermit between them. So someone may ask for some time, for a break. Some of you may want to be alone. You need to do some soul searching to figure out, it's like a time of reassessment and figure out, okay, are things the way I want it? Are things going the way I want it? Because there's some emotional uncertainty here. And, the moon can be really exciting and exhilarating. So sometimes these type of relationships can be sort of have drama, and drama can be great for a while, kind of, in the sense that, if you fight and you're really angry at each other, but then you come back together, it's like those high and lows. People, you can get sort of addicted to those highs and lows, but that's really not sustainable. It's exhausting, and it just wears you out. It's not a healthy way to be. And so to be emotionally uncertain in a relationship, I don't know. It's not for me, at least. I'm a Libra moon. Hermit, time to yourself, time to figure out what you really want, what's really important. Are you practicing what you preach? Like if you look to someone else's relationship, what would, if you could in some way be non-biased and really pretend your relationship with someone else and really think, how would I, what would I, what advice would I give to that person? And then realize we make exceptions for ourselves. It's time to look really clear, really do some soul searching. And with this eclipse energy, some of you may be out of there. This could be a job, this could be any sort of situation, but it is coming up potentially as a relationship for just some of you. If you're in a super happy relationship, it obviously doesn't relate to you. Out of there. And it's like the eclipse. It's like switching a light switch. It's just like, boom, I'm out, I'm done. So it's often the straw that breaks the camel's back. The energy here is the energy that is going to make you really say, you know what? What am I doing? I've given this enough time. I've tried. I've worked hard. And I need to make an emotional decision about this situation. For some of you, some journaling might be helpful to really write it out, to talk to someone, to try to figure things out. And some of you will be like hightailing it out of there. And because you want things to be better, like your actual tangible living life. You want your home life to be better. You want your work to be better. You want where you live to be something that feels good. Like when you come home, you want it to feel home. You don't want to come home and it should be your home should be your, what do I want to say? It should be a safe space, a peaceful space, a space where it's like, yeah, you feel like you come home. It's not, and any home can be, any house, any structure, any apartment, no matter how big or small, can feel homey or not feel homey. So you can have the most beautiful, huge mansion and it can feel cold and sterile, or you can have, a small apartment, a studio apartment, and it can feel like home. And it's all about the energies that are there and the way you perceive it, or the energies that are there. So if it's not a nice atmosphere for whatever reason, whether you have terrible neighbors, the person you live with, bad roommates, not getting along with your spouse, it's too far from work, the commute's too far, so you're exhausted, how did I end up living in the suburbs? I always wanted to live in the country. I always wanted to live somewhere else. Like, it's time to ask you these questions. Like, it's like a reassessment, a reevaluation. Like, it's like going in and figuring out some of these questions, asking some of these big, tough, hard questions. Very eclipse energy. Okay, I'm going to keep moving along to Scorpio. Hey, Scorpio, how you doing, guys? So I'm reading for the week of August 20th, the week of the eclipse. Knight of Pentacles, changing, tangible changes. You want tangible changes. New job, new place to live, new health routine, new, just a new atmosphere. Yeah, some of you are really wishing, I haven't been looking at the bottom of the deck, but I have all of a sudden. 9 of Cups. What's your wish? What do you really want? Is there anything where you're like, oh, if I could just get another new job, or if I could just have this person back. You have the 3 of Swords. If I wasn't so busy, what are the things that are sort of weighing on your mind, keeping you up at night? And then think about what would I wish to be different? And then really think about that, your wish. So if you're like, oh, if I could just have a house that was bigger or something. Is that really going to solve the problem? or is that sort of a reaction to something that's, oh, my significant other's a slob and I hate sharing a bathroom with him because he never cleans. So it is getting a house with an extra bathroom. It might on the short term seem like it's going to solve the problem, but I feel like the point is I feel like there's something deeper, and that you're kind of wishing for something different to change it will temporarily alleviate the issue, but it's not the long-term solution. Like, you're not paying attention to the long-term solution. So for example, if you're busy, if you're on the school board, or you do all this other stuff, and you're like, oh, if someone would just help me out, or if my significant other would just do this, or blah, blah, blah. But maybe you really need to think about, why do you volunteer or get yourself involved in all these things? Are these truly responsibilities you need to have? Or do you feel guilty? Or do you want to look good? Or do you want to, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that you're like a bad person for that. We do that, and we find ourselves, because we're trying to be so good, that we overextend ourselves. So, and then we're like, oh, if I could just, then we start to get sort of resentful, and it's really difficult, and it's really easy to get there. So what are truly your responsibilities, and what are truly not your responsibilities? Do you need to have some conversations with someone? I mean, sometimes this can be the truth hurts, where you have to say, look, I know that, I think to people too, well, I've always done that, so I can't ask them to step up or do that or say no. Yeah, you can. You can, if things are not going the way, you're always able to renegotiate things. Yeah, maybe not in a job, but you can ask. And if it's just not going to, you never know. I mean, people may say yes. Again, the wish card is here, so you may get your wish. Just be careful what you wish for. That's always the caveat. Make sure you're looking at the long term, not just, oh, I just want this. I just want a new job. Well, okay, just don't take. So sometimes we take a different job just to get away from the job we have. But make sure you're thinking about, is this the career I want to go? Is this the path where do I really want to go? What career really is going to make me happy? Ask the bigger questions. And by asking these questions and really looking at the places where, we need this energy of sort of, oh, this isn't right, I'm not happy, in order to motivate us or to be a catalyst for change. So it's like, there's something you need to change. How you make your money, your health, you live, your home. If you're not feeling at home in your home, why is that? Maybe it's not the physical building, but it's the energy of the people you're with and the way things that are happening. So it's a week where you're really going to get to the root of some things that you want to make some changes of. That didn't make any sense, but you know what I mean, this week. Okay, let's keep moving on because I can't talk now. Sagittarius. All right, my fellow Saggies, let's see what's going on for us this eclipse week. Ooh, should be interesting week. Oh yeah, change. We love that, right? Swift change. Things are coming. Things are going to get moving. Things are going to start happening. So when the wheels are turning. So when the 8 of Wands comes up, you guys, and fire signs, we love change. We like to keep moving. We hate stagnation. We don't want to this card keeps coming up. We don't want to we don't like to be idle, but sometimes if we've been wanting something, oh, I just wish this would be different, this would change, and then when it happened, or you've been putting your resume out there, then you get a job offer and you're like, oh shit, oh, I don't know, and then you have this panic, right? You've crushed on someone forever, and then all of a sudden they're like, you want to go out, and you're like, oh, I don't know. Is he really cute? Is she really who I want? We start to like, we're crazy. People are crazy. Humans are crazy. Our brains just, we just can't be happy sometimes. So when this card comes up, it's great. It's communication. It's things are moving and it's good. But we can have a tendency to self-sabotage or to panic because it feels, even it's usually something we've wanted for a long time, it feels like it's happening fast when it finally happens. So just sit with it for a little bit and don't have a knee-jerk reaction. Like, calm, talk to someone, look at the big picture and say, hey, this is what I've wanted. It's time to jump on. We never know how things are going to go. You never know how a job, a relationship, if you move somewhere, you never know how it's going to go until you're living it. And we have to live. It's time to move forward. Things are changing. And so when there is a lot of change, learning to stay centered at the center of the wheel, calm, grounded. You may not get the highs, but you're not going to get crushed under the wheel. You're not going to be like constantly trying to hang on or scramble up to the top in this sort of endless cycle of life, of ups and downs. And you're able to just, it'll be okay. Stay calm and centered and just go through it. Because I think we think getting all stressed out or worried or whatever helps protect ourselves, or we use stress as I think as like a barrier to anxiety. I don't know if that makes any sense how I'm trying to describe it, but there's no reason we can't just be like, okay, well, let's see how this goes. I mean, there is, whether you approach it from like a chill point of view or a super stressed out and worried point of view, it's still going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like, I think it's more likely that positive things are going to happen if we just take it one step at a time. Don't worry, don't overanalyze, don't put all this other sort of negative energy into it and just, see how it goes. But it's going to be time to let go. There's something that we're done with. So this eclipse energy is like, we're done. When the 10 of Swords comes up, done. Done, 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 done. You are never going back. You are never dealing. You're never going to think that way again. It can often be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So it doesn't have to be a huge, crazy event, but it's like something just clicks and you're like, yep, time to move on. I'm done. Let's get going. And it's really not a reaction. Like it's really actually the realization that maybe that you've been in denial about something and you're like, what am I doing? Why have I been dealing with this jealous jerk? Why have I been putting up with this crappy work situation? Why do I live here? I don't like living here. I've lived here because I moved here with a boyfriend and we broke up and now I'm still here. Why am I? I don't have to stay. Like, it's just kind of like this eclipse, this release, this letting go. And I see this. Oh yeah. So this is like, really like what? Wow. Moving on. Any negative situations, it's like you're going to be moving on, you're done. And it's like her energy is, I want a home. I want to feel safe and grounded and happy. And that doesn't have to be making 6 figures and living in a mansion. That can be living in somewhere next to the beach and something I can afford, because that's always my dream. That's where I feel good. So making money in a way that you feel good about, in an atmosphere that you feel safe in, living with someone or living alone. So the atmosphere when you come home, that the house is a home, not just a building, in a neighborhood or a place that you feel good. Making this is all that eclipse energy, and it's not going to bypass us at all. And it's a time to cut ties. It's like a pruning a bush or a tree that has dead limbs. It's like, you ever notice you prune a plant and it revitalizes it. So it's time to let things go that no longer serve us, things that we're resenting or hanging on to. Let that shit go. It's time to move on, lighter, happier, and being able to move forward. Life is short. Let's get a move on. All right, Capricorn. Hey there, Capricorn. This is a reading for August 20th, the week of the eclipse. Should be super cool. Make time to safely view the eclipse. Yeah, doesn't that totally kind of look like he's like checking out the eclipse? It comes, the next time it's going to be here is like 120 years. This is it. This is the only time to see it. So that's an energy I'm getting for you guys before I even bring out the cards. You need to start living in the present as much as possible. Make time for people. Make time for things you care about. Oh, it's just barely raining out. Yeah, like go outside in the rain. When's the last time you were outside in the rain? It's a cool feeling. Don't worry about getting wet. Don't worry about trying to like get rid of some of the mundane worries. Yeah, look at that. And stopping and smelling the roses, simplifying things, letting go of some of these burdens and expectations that you put on yourself or allow other people to put on you. Because we allow other people to put things on us. We allow that to happen. We don't have to take on these demands of other people. So stepping back, getting a higher perspective. Where am I expending my energy? Where it's kind of like zooming out. So often in life, we're in, the work week starting. I got to get up. I got to do this. I got to do that. I just want to get through the week. If you have a job like you're not super happy with or something, or, we're just going from one task to the next, to bed. We have to get up. We have to do this. And it's like we really can lose the joy in life. And we also can have gotten off on a path we didn't even intend to. So the Three of Wands asks us to zoom out, to get a bird's eye view. He's looking way across the horizon. He's not looking at what's this cat right in front of him, which would be, he's seeing the big picture. So it's time to do a reassessment maybe of where you are. Just like where did you think you would be at this time? Where do you want to be? What are your dreams? What are you doing to further those things that you want to do? If you're always interested in living somewhere, why aren't you there? And sometimes there are reasons, but my son, is that a thing kids say? Reasons. I say, why? Reasons, Mom. Reasons. What are those reasons? Time for a reassessment. And look, he's even flying this Knight of Swords. He's even flying. He's getting way up there to he's like really getting up to get that 60,000-foot view of what's going on and where you're headed and where you really want to go. And it's time to recalibrate and take some time. Like, it's okay to take some time and meditate and think and take a time out. Take a vacation if you haven't taken a vacation. Take a mental health day or two. I have 10 weeks of sick time. It's ridiculous. It's like, oh my God, Jen, I need to, take some time. Take your time. Life is too short. Where are you expending all your energy? And you might need to have a better work-home balance so that you have the energy. Sometimes we feel like we don't have the energy to stop and smell the roses. So this is meditate, quiet, rest. Give yourself a break. Give yourself the time to step back and really reflect on what you want. Write a list. The Swords cards are great at writing a list. Talk with your significant other, your kids. Dream a little. You don't have to stay stuck where you are. And it just brings out, it's like it gives you a whole new outlook on life. It breathes life back into you, vitality, excitement, energy. It's like it really shines a light on things, and I think a real aha moment can happen for you guys, and you're like, what the f have I been doing? Like, oh my god, why am I stuck here? What? I'm not stuck. I'm only stuck because of my own mental idea that this is what I need to do. And that's the Knights bring about change in the suit they're in. So thoughts, changing your thoughts, changing how you perceive things, you look at things, you think about things. That's the realm of that the eclipse is going to bring change to your life this week. All right, thanks guys. Now we're on to Aquarius. You know, I love my Aquarian friends. I'm very used to your energy, and it's a nice energy. I like it a lot. Okay, let's see what's going on for you guys in this week of the eclipse. Oops, that didn't want to come. It's really time for you guys. If you guys have like super creative, interesting, out of the box ideas, and it's really time for you to speak up, work on those things, move on those things. If any of you have an idea for a book, a creative project, an invention, a business idea, an idea for like where you want to live, how you want to change your life. I mean, anything that people may be like, well, that's a little crazy. You want to live in a tiny house? You want to move to St. Martin? I don't know. Wow. Oh, you guys are going to be feeling it. The eclipse energy. I haven't been looking at the bottom, but I started to, and now I can't stop. Judgment. Yeah. It's like, and the Tower. I'm just feeling this eclipse energy so far. It's like anything that you've been meaning to change, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen where you can't be in denial or just kind of, yeah, whatever, I'll deal with it at some point, just sort of kicking the can along. Like, you need to actually do something, and it's going to happen one way or the other. So the Tower always holds this. It's like, this needed to happen. Things weren't sustainable the way they were, and you needed to make some changes, and for whatever reason you didn't feel like you could, or you didn't want to, or you just were in denial or whatever. The Tower brings this opportunity where it takes care of it for you, for whatever it was that you couldn't deal with yourself, whether it was a relationship, a work situation. I'm not saying you guys are going to get fired, or your significant other's going to leave you, or you're going to find something. And it can also, this theme keeps coming up, be the straw that breaks the camel's back. We have a camel. Interesting. Where it's just like you see something clearly and you can't unsee it. And this Judgment card, that's what it's like. You wake up. You have this epiphany. And like, I need to get more healthy. I need to start living. Like, I haven't been living, or I need to act on this thing. No more. I need to make my actions and words and thoughts, like, they all need to be together. So whatever you're really passionate about, that maybe you've been denying yourself, or it's time for that creative project to come out. So Knights are change in the suit that they're in. Knights of Wands. Wands is fire, passion, motivation. Maybe you need to ask that person out. Maybe you need to take this relationship to the next level. You need to pursue things that inspire you. Your creativity is going to be very high, and it's time to channel that, to get it out. No more excuses. Oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the money. No one's going to like it. No more time for this negative thinking. I'm just going to turn that over. Self-doubt, ego. No, you can make it happen. You can make it happen. And it's time to believe in that and move forward on the things that you've been telling yourself you can't do for whatever the list of reasons your ego tells you, or your, someone in your sphere of influence that's negative, that you still play that negative tape. Like, that's all just you holding yourself back, moving forward. And you guys will not live the same after this week, in a very good way. Okay, and finally, last but not least, Pisces. Pisces. All right. Reading for August 20th, the week of the eclipse. And boy, is this energy coming through loud and clear in these cards. Especially, I think when I got to Cancer on, it's really coming through. I feel like for you guys, the eclipse is going to be like you can no longer hold back. And this was sort of an Aquarius theme, but I'm feeling it for you guys too. You no longer can hold back a creative project. Oh, this card keeps coming up. Letting go of resentment, negativity, the ego, things that we think in our minds, these negative thoughts that hold us back. And also really seeing the truth in situations and knowing when to move on and let stuff go. Let it go. Not hanging on to resentment. Oh, wow. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Done. You're done. You are done. This can be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It doesn't have to be a huge giant thing, but you're done. You're not thinking about that stupid ex-girlfriend. You're not thinking about that asshole boss. You're not thinking about something that happened to you when you were 10 years old. You're done. You're just not trying to make a friendship work that doesn't work. You're not trying to make a housing situation work that doesn't work. You're not going to keep living somewhere where you're not happy. And this can't be undone. And it's not, you can't once you know something or find something out, and there's no denial, there's no hanging on to things, you're just going to let it go because you realize it's just weighing you down. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it. And you can train your mind to focus on things, negative or positive. And so you're just like, I'm not going to give a shit what people think about me anymore. I'm not. It holds me back. It worries me. And it's completely unnecessary, because the people that go out of your way to say negative things, that's a reflection of them. And then everyone else, no one's thinking about you. No one gives a shit. They're all worried about what you're thinking about them. You know what I mean? We're all worried about what everything is. So it's like, you're going to be like, this is ridiculous. I need to let this stuff go. And I need to live my life for me, right? I'm going to, whether I'm gender, like, oh, I can't do this because it'll be embarrassing because guys don't do yoga. Well, you know what? That's bullshit. That's all perception. It's not real and it doesn't matter. And don't hold yourself back because you worry about what other people. I'm not going to say don't hold. You're no longer going to hold yourself back, or you're really going to come into your own. I really think her secret is exactly what we're saying about right then. Like, live your life the way you want. Decorate your house, not so if someone comes in, like, they'll think it's nice. Decorate your house how you like it. What makes you feel good, what makes you feel comfortable. Make it your home. So it's a safe space. So things like that. Live where you want to live. Work where you want to work. It's time. Life is short. And it's like you're no longer going to worry about stupid shit or let other people put their worries or their expectations or their demands on you. You don't have to take it. You don't have to take on their demands. And if you are, that's on us. That's our bad that we're taking on other people's stuff. And this brings this incredible new emotional beginning. You feel better. You're fertile. You're open to new experiences and feeling better. It's very healing. It's cleansing. You're just letting go of, like, think about resentment. It's just like dirt that clings to you, and it's like, rinse that stuff off and let it go down the drain, and it's gone. Leave it there. Let it flow off you and be gone for good, so you can move forward lighter and happier and with positivity and like only good vibes. You're only going to let good vibes in, and let the rest of it roll off you like water off a duck's back. And this is a conscious decision because of these swords cards. So this is you saying, I want more, I deserve more, and I'm going to expect more, and I'm going to be positive and happy and move forward. It's it's a mindset. No more negativity, no more things dragging me down, no more worry, wasting my time and energy worrying. All right, so there we go. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.